Have you been researching living in Tri-Cities, Washington, but all you can seem to find are people that either love it and say there's nothing wrong with it, or they hate it and want to get out of here as quick as possible? This is an honest pros and cons list where I give you 5 pros and 5 cons of living in Tri-Cities, Washington. Hey everyone, it's Connor MacDougall back again for another video. If you've been enjoying these videos and getting value from them, please consider hitting that subscribe button and hitting the bell for notifications when I release new content. Without further ado, let's go. So by far, the number one pro for living in Tri-Cities, Washington has got to be the weather. With over 300 days of sunshine a year, if you like sunshine and you like being outside, this is a great place to be. With it being the desert, the summers are dry and hot. Hot meaning it can get up into the 115 to 120 on the hottest days. Doesn't usually stick around there long, but expect quite a few days in the triple digits in the summertime. Again, with it being a desert, there's pretty limited precipitation, so not a lot of rain. It does snow, usually it's only a couple times a year, and it's usually gone and melted within a day or two. The first con I can come up with has got to be the wind. People will tell you it's really not that bad and it really doesn't get that windy. There's days in the fall and the spring where it blows pretty consistently at 25 miles an hour. And then when we get big windstorms, we can get gusts up to 50 miles an hour or above. We're talking shingles coming off your roof, trampolines being picked up and thrown through the neighborhood. Usually the windy season does land in kind of the fall and spring on either side of winter, but the silver lining for that is it does produce renewable energy because they do have a fair number of wind farms around the area that produce green energy. Number 2 on the pros side is the cost of living. Major reason why I settled here and why my wife and I chose to live here is because the cost of living really allows you to build a life for yourself and to kind of get ahead. Tri is one of those places where the affordability is quite a bit better than a lot of the surrounding areas, so you can afford to do the things you love, to buy a home if you're disciplined, all those kind of things. As you can see over here, this is kind of a list of some of the major surrounding cities and where their affordability lines up. The lower the number, the better here. Tri is significantly lower than any of those areas as far as affordability goes. Number 2 on the cons list is high-end dining options. So the food scene in Tri-Cities has blown up quite a bit in the last few years, and when I say blown up, there's a lot more options than there used to be. But the one thing that it is lacking still is the high-end dining experience. So if you're looking to go out, dress really nice, spend a few $100s, be in a really high-end restaurant, we don't have many of those in town. There are a couple, but as far as going out for a really nice dinner and kind of as a special treat, you're not going to find a lot of that high-end dining experience in town. Number 3 on the pros list, and something I'm personally biased about, is the golf in Tri-Cities. There's 10 different golf courses to choose from here, anything ranging from beginner 9-hole courses up until private country clubs and some really nice public courses as well. If you like golf, there's a ton of golf around here, and it's pretty affordable too. Rounds start around the $30 range for 18 holes and get up to about $100 a round at some of the nicer courses. Another nice part is you can play year round. If you're willing to brave the cold and you really love golf that much, you can play almost 365 days a year here. Number 3 on the cons list is the allergies. A lot of people don't realize they even have allergies until moving to Tri-Cities. There's quite a few different types of pollen and allergens, and with that desert landscape and all of the tumbleweeds and the sagebrush and everything else that grows in the desert, it does trigger allergies in a lot of people that didn't even know they had them. There are ways to treat it. Some people go in for shots every once in a while. There's over-the-counter medication that tends to help a lot. But if you're someone who's prone to allergies and certain types of allergens, that may be something you want to research if you don't want to be dealing with that kind of thing for major parts of the year. Pro number 4 for all those vino fans out there is the wine selection in Tri-Cities. So Washington State is actually the number 2 wine producer in the US, and a large portion of that comes from the central and southeast region of Washington where we are. There's a combination of the Columbia River for irrigation combined with the hot days to ripen the grapes, the cool nights to maintain the acidity of the grapes. It's kind of the perfect storm for good wine. There's actually over 200 wineries within a 50-mile radius of Tri-Cities. So that's 20% of the wineries in Washington State are within a 50-mile circle of Tri-Cities here. So that just goes to show how much wine there is and how much good quality wine in the area. Con number 4 for living in the Tri-Cities is the travel and airport/flight options. There's actually only 10 direct flights leaving from the Pasco airport, and a few of those are actually seasonal where they shut down in the wintertime. It is a regional airport, which means there's no international flights. So if you're looking to fly to Canada, Mexico, Europe, you're definitely going to have to connect through one of the bigger airports on your way. Sometimes you'll even have to make a couple connections depending if they don't have a direct flight out of one of the major hubs that Pasco connects with. So as far as making travel plans go, sometimes it is actually quicker with all the layovers to drive to Seattle or Portland and fly out of there than it is to fly out of Pasco. Pro number 5 for living in Tri-Cities is the economy and the jobs in town. There was a study that came out a number of years ago that talked about needing 4 different major industries in order to sustain a city. And Tri-Cities actually has 6 different major industries and that kind of feed jobs in the area. There's an acronym that was come up with called the WHAM. So that is technology, which is the PNNL, the lab, all the research and technical stuff that's done in town. Hanford, which is obviously the nuclear site here. The reason Tri-Cities really grew up into the city that it's become in the first place. E stands for education. That would be WSU Tri-Cities, as well as Columbia Basin College. The W stands for wineries, like I already talked about. The A stands for agriculture, because it is a huge agricultural hub. The M in the WHAM is medical. We have a few major hospitals here and medical centers, which again, even during recessions, will still thrive and there will still be a lot of jobs available there. One of the great things about those 6 different economic drivers is they're all quite well insulated from recessions and from economic downturns. A lot of those industries are going to continue kind of moving forward regardless of what the rest of the industries and what the rest of the country is doing. So a lot of those jobs, even through the major recessions we've seen, have been very secure. And the last thing on my list, con number 5 for living in the Tri-Cities, is the lack of nightlife for younger people. If you're someone who, when you turn 21, you want to get into clubbing, you want to go out to the bars, you want to party and be around loud music and stay out late, Tri-Cities doesn't really have much of a scene for that. There's definitely bars, there's definitely places you can go if you want to socialize, but if you're really into that partying, clubbing, there's not a lot of it in Tri-Cities, and that's kind of been consistent throughout the life of the city. So that's it. 5 honest pros and 5 honest cons for living in Tri-Cities, Washington. If you found this useful, please subscribe to my channel and hit that bell for notifications when I release new video content. If you have questions about other things in the area, please shoot me a message in the comments or send me an email or text message. I'd be happy to fill you in and get you any information you're looking for. See y'all next time.